Our guest Izuchukwu Oboko is right here, and you're right on time, Izuchukwu. Izuchukwu, guys, is a legal practitioner, and he's going to be our guest analyst for this segment. Thank you so much, Barrister, for joining us. Good morning. Can you hear me? All right, I think he's gone off the network. You know, these things are very unstable sometimes. Aha, he's here. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. So let's get right into it.
Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely. We can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
We will.
Yes, I can.
Okay. So let's see if we can make this happen. All right, so Izuchukwu, this is what we are talking about. It's a major headline on the front page of the Vanguard, and we are talking about the National Assembly promising to wade into the WASC age controversy. What's your take on this story? Okay, I think we will have to get Izuchukwu to...
I think it's very worrying from the Honorable Minister of Education to say that until students get to 18 years, they cannot write a exam. It just shows we are in our education.
I think the network is not, it's dragging a bit. The network is really bad, so let's just continue. And but just like I was saying, it is very worrisome, and it brings me to the question how the minister, just like Izuchukwu was about to say, got to this conclusion. What variables, what criteria, what did he use to measure this particular announcement? How did he come up with this particular idea or policy? That is it that the brains don't develop until they're 18? Or I know officially in Nigeria you're not an adult until you turn 18. Is that what he's tilting towards? I know your driving license, you cannot get it until you're 18. Is that what he's tilting towards? That until you become an adult? Yeah, let's not forget that when students enter school, I'm not encouraging it. I'm not saying, but strike is still there waiting for them. I mean, it's a yearly thing. You understand? I mean, there was a point whereby I was even asking that why is JAM still conducting their examinations when strike is still on and all that? I mean, are you just going to sit for JAM and after JAM you wait at home till the strike comes up? I mean, we still have September for ASU and the rest of them to finalize and all that. So it's a whole lot of question, and I just hope they are able to resolve this, because let's not draw ourselves back. The world is globalizing. We are seeing more of, we've seen a lot of students at the age of 21 who are graduate. So, of course, if a student is graduated at 21, which means he must have enrolled at the university probably at 16 or 17. Yeah. Now, imagine if that person was in Nigeria where there's a law where that person is saying that you cannot do this until you are 18. So approximately it means that 24, 25 is the least age that you would graduate.
This thing is a serious matter, and we will continue to keep the viewer posted as events unfold. Now, let's take a look at the front page of The Guardian. This story here, NLC threatens indefinite strike as Ajeru honors police invitation. Earlier on, Olumide had said it was good that the NLC chief was honoring the police invitation. But Olumide, you also said this was going to be a litmus test for the judiciary.
Yes.
Right? Which brings me to this topic, this headline rather, on the front page of The Guardian also. It says, Criminal Justice Act ineffective 7 years after. Criminal Justice Act ineffective 7 years after. Guess where that's coming from?
NBA.
The NBA itself.
It's a good thing that the NBA is coming out to say all this, because I feel the judiciary also needs a whole lot of reform. Yeah. I know in as much as our new Kekeriaku has been sworn in as the Chief Justice of the Federation, I hope that she will bring about a whole reform, entire reform in the justice system, because the justice in Nigeria is almost delayed. Let's put it that way. You want to, even if you want to just try as much to retrieve a land from someone, it might take you 5 to 10 years to retrieve their land because of court adjournment and all that. And let's not even talk about the cost implication.
Yeah.
Litigations right now, I mean, if you really want to sue someone, you must really have money. And Nigeria is a place whereby if you owe someone money, 500, maybe someone is owing you 500,000, that person can use 2 million to get you.
So where's the hope for the common man?
For the common man. But I'm glad that Ajaero has honored the police invitation. Let's all be civil. Let us give the police a benefit of doubt. Let them carry out their investigation. I'm sure they would not have come out to accuse him of terrorism financing if they don't have strong evidence.
It is said no smoke without fire, yeah?
So,
all right.
Let's see if we can get Izuchukwu Oboko back on. Are you there?
Oh, yes, I'm here. I hope you can hear me now.
Perfectly.
Yes, we can hear you. All right, so you were about to land talking about the
WASC controversy.
WASC controversy and the House of Reps and Senate wading in.
Yeah, so I was saying that it just goes to show how far in the lower rung we have gone on our educational, on the quality of our education, for there to be deliberate government policy barring eligible candidates. Eligible candidate. I'm not sure what the reason of the Honorable Minister is. Whatever that is can be fixed instead of playing with people's lives and destinies. I am one of those who frown against that policy. That policy cannot mean well for the youth and the future of Nigeria. In fact, if they don't know, what it means is that they will have more relatively idle people. So when next there is a call for protest, the number of the protesters is going to increase. If they don't even let them look at it from that perspective and spend whatever money needs to be spent, get whatever infrastructure needs to be gotten, do whatever needs to be done. And it is possible that criminality or criminal activities may also increase when you have that teeming number of youth year in, year out who are jobless, as it were, or who are not meaningfully engaged. So let the minister do what needs to be done, and that policy should be revoked immediately with immediate effect.
All right, very well said. Now, let me draw your attention to this story on the front page of The Guardian. It says, Criminal Justice Act ineffective 7 years after the NBA laments. Who better to talk about this than you? What's your take on this story?
Laws are passed for specific purpose. If they have not, if the Criminal Justice Act having not been so effective over the years, stakeholders like the NBA has noted need to engage and find out why has this not been operational, why has this not been effective, or has not been as effective as it should be. Is it that the purpose for which it was made has been overtaken by the existence of another law, or that if, in the natural course of events, what it was meant to do has been cured, right? So it calls for stakeholder engagement to see that it works effectively or that the law is abolished altogether.
Let me pick your brains a little bit. As a legal practitioner, bring us a little bit into it. Give us a peek. What is it about, the Criminal Justice Act? What is it all about, though?
So just like the one we have in Lagos, where we have administration of criminal justice law, it has to do with management of criminal law cases within the judicial system. That's basically what it is.
Okay.
But in this instance, unlike the law of Lagos State, which deals specifically with Lagos, and others of the Federation have their own versions of the administration of criminal justice law. So it has to do specifically with when they say someone is a suspect, arrested, right? From the time when he gets to the police station, all through when assuming the police decide to prosecute. So everything that happens all through the court system until either the person is discharged and acquitted or the person is found guilty of whatever offense is committed and then is sentenced in that manner.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let's move on to another, of course, engaging topic, which has to do with the strike, the ASU, that's the ASU and federal government. Of course, they've been threatening to go on strike over non-payment of this and that and that. But let me get your thought on this. Now, they've said September, they said that ASU and federal government will reconvene. What are your hopes, given the fact that ASU have always gone on strike year in, year out? In fact, I'm surprised this year we've not had strike. But what is your thought on this meeting that which will be, they should reconvene September?
Honestly, it's as ASU and federal government brouhaha is becoming like a part of our normal lives. Like you have mentioned, they've not gone on strike this year, so it's something that is always reoccurring. And I do not think that what ASU's agitations aren't things that can be resolved once and for all. Once and for all. It just goes to show a lack of willingness on the part of government after government to really address the real issues that ASU is talking about. I don't think that it is out of place to demand for more remuneration and to demand for part of ASU's demand, if I recall well now, is also university autonomies, right, and issues around money and the implement platform, right?
Yes.
To the extent that government will be involved on whether it is EPs or UTAS, the important thing is that whatever platform of payment is adopted should be transparent by both parties. And I should think that the government should defer to ASU's position, allow them to use whatever payment platform they want to use, provided that the entire thing is transparent. The government should take immediate efforts to resolve this ASU issue.
All right,
once and for all.
I want to pick on that university autonomy. Now, of course, we've been seeing rising cases of tuition fees, even in the federal public institutions and all that. We've seen rising cost of tuition fees. Do you think that if they are being granted that autonomy, it won't just spiral out of control and we will have a total unreversible hike in tuition fees?
I do not think that it will lead to total irreversible hike in tuition fees. And by the time some of us were, at the time when some of us were in the university, right, there was hardly any year that the school fees was not increased. So the amount I paid in my first year wasn't the amount I paid in my second year. It wasn't the same. But the increments were gradual. I recall that shortly before I resumed in my first year in the University of Ibadan, at the University of Ibadan, right, they had just increased accommodation fees from 10,000 naira to 15,000 naira.
15?
And students went on protest just because of that. Yes, 5,000 naira difference. The entire university was shut. I remember the first day I was walking into the university. The university gate was closed. Why? Protest. So you could say that the first thing I experienced upon resumption in university was, so students take to those things seriously. Again, because you can find some parents who have like 3-4 children at the same time in the university. So it's not just that they are paying fees for one person. We also need to look at it from the administrator's perspective. How much does it cost to maintain to mow the lawn? The gardeners, how much are they going to earn? The maintenance guys, people who come to pick the waste, right? So as much as I'm in support that school fees should be increased, I do not support that it should be so high that people can't manage. I think it's in the news that part of the reason why school fees, even for federal university, that used to be the cheapest before now, and with great quality as well, is because government has reduced its funding, its allocation to the universities. And so universities have to get that money one way or another. But what some of them have been clamoring for, which I know a few have started, is to allow the universities to be able to do some business. So I know that at the time I was at the University of Ibadan, there used to be this University of Ibadan bread and there was water.
Yeah.
And so they were able to engage in some other adventure. And of course, there was this, we had a zoo. I think we still do. There's still a zoo at the University of Ibadan where people pay to see. But of course, the amount paid, I'm not so sure, is going commercial rate if you were to visit other zoos. So these are the issues. I think that government needs to really sit down with ASU and,
ensure that the strike is averted. Yes.
Especially issues that have a wider ramification. I'm even more worried. It may not be so much in the front burner now, where I heard that some doctors are going on strike. You see. Yeah. Certain sectors that should never be seen to be going on strike.
Talking about sectors,
the medical sector is
yes, we have just less than 2 minutes to wrap up. Talking about strikes and certain sectors not having to go on strikes. Now, there is another body that is threatening an indefinite strike. It's the NLC. NLC is threatening indefinite strike as Ajero honors police invitation. When we talked about it earlier on, Olumide was saying that the justice must be allowed to run its full course. Please, 1 minute quickly. What's your reaction to this particular story as we wrap this segment up?
Yes, Labour is threatening to go on strike because they don't trust that the law enforcement agencies are going to follow the law, that are going to be fair in their dealing with the president. Labour believes, according to what's available in public domain, that Ajaro's intended arrest or invitation to the police has political undertone. And so they are threatening. I've read that statement where they said if the president or any of their principal officers are arrested and kept unduly, or if anything harm comes to them at all, that they are going to embark on an indefinite strike. So it's also trying to balance the scale to say, look, we know you have the power of arrest, but we also have this power as well. So let's remind each other what we can both do. So I think that if the police has reason to invite the NLC president, let him go, but the police should also be fair in their dealing. Release him you can release him on self-recognition as somebody as popular as the NLC president. But again, there are the law enforcement, there are other nuances to law enforcement that they know that I don't.
Absolutely.
But I will urge them to be fair in their dealing.
Fantastic. That's a very safe place to land. Thank you so much. You've been brilliant on the show this morning. Izuchukwu Oboko.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Yes.